Good morning, LLC members and everyone listening in on the call. Roll call for Law and Order Committee, 24th Navajo Nation Council, special meeting via telecommunication, October 3rd, 2022, 10 o'clock a.m. Honorable Madam Chair Eugenia Charles Newton.
I am present. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Madam Chair Eugenia Charles Newton is present. Honorable Vice Chair Otto.
I am present.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair Otto is present. Honorable Vince James.
Delegate James is present.
Thank you, Honorable Vince James is present. Honorable Eugene So. Thank you, Honorable Eugene So is present. Honorable Edmund Yazi. Honorable Edmund Yazi.
Yep.
Thank you, Honorable Edmund Yazi is present. Honorable Madam Chair Eugenia Charles Newton, you have 5 members present, which constitutes a quorum, Madam Chair.
Get back here out. So with that, we'll go ahead and proceed forward right now to invocation. At this time, I'd like to ask Chanella, Delegate Vince James, can you assist us with invocation this morning?
Hakosine skata snale kote hojondo le hons must in the con paikea is tar has ani ho. So there's in the nigi bench nana stick to le ho. Na wait the agent sweet with Lord Eya Ikonzate. Niki hold gesto ho de hashin so de Eya Iko. Quaiki nike or art de penny beach coco. As you go de Eya Iko hashin so son the nigi ko yat eho. Eya ikon hikiche nani days liko I don't dafe hoyat eho no stand niki e hoyat eho nan shotobe na hot declare oko hashin so hana od adon hanada ist as liko oko konza the whole just ko yat eho bito eya e ko so the zen yat ehiki ba hojoniki Eya ikon kitchen dish le koko dide land order committee bidit no kodo beshwa sa underneath linigi at anate neloko eya iko ben hitojo oko koje sala has anje adonda agat it I hashke has anje aje hot besna has ado da anish dobinan shidel enigi latod eya iko hashin sod e be eastern in the wheel e dobe Eya nahat anleniki ko binya alche dahandani bi le ko de the nebikeya baka go khahotso ben hije in the huist ado be eta hodoni be yat eho hat egita eya na hot be yat ko be je hodo ni be yat eho eya iko nada hast ado le binya eya hot ko land order committee hit that note eya iko beshwas anani klinigi Eya quaigi eya nahat anlenikin hal ke nada sto eya banna da dit in hojon jono banna da sit idoles beyat eho kon na nation leni nada idoles beyat eho ti kont nebikeya tis nelibi kun yat eho nada annisto yat eho ne kenada hat idole jokot out eya kahajoba initso konzaten hilholjish le ko kodot so de zen leni beshaho leniki bennacht eya ikonat ani nit leniki ko beshma sa ani nit le ko na din hit no big hit doche ado large dot ke on and hata sa kahiki ko hatsela de benat anle at legena nation leniki ko ado al tonje nat ani de khaje ko al tone petition le ko na hat ayat hin joniki eya ikonpa Babe hasti do kombe at the hasti do listen so in the snare ko must try in lean di ko alot ahoti ko als konjet edishne ho nal glossy de kach in sabzelt is na hol auch nicht salat so de kach von hast twin hizani ich hat noch als chine na hol abtrat als de betrat nil de lini kod als konje nashni do listen so in the snare ko adot aho ko nicht na als an hier ko nicht nas large ko nicht nas large ko als konje de ko di asli bi di bini bi je hat als von enashni dolekin sondishnaha ashada ahnakusni sotilogosni bensan naotil all ekone awetni agen suincho anandishno ehonso de zindniki beshaho inle na eya ekonso de zindni be nanasli dole hojanasli.
Shanella, thank you for providing the invocation here this morning. And thank you for praying for all of us too. So with that, we'll go ahead and proceed forward to item number 2, recognizing guests and visiting officials. We do have all of the members of Law and Order Committee on the call and who are present during this time. I would like to ask, are there any other delegates on the line? Not hearing anything. Who do we have from the Office of the Speaker on the line?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Law and Order Committee. This is Nikita Kirk, Legislative Staff Assistant. Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Kirk, and thank you for being on the line with us today. Do we have anybody from Office of Legislative Counsel on the line? Not hearing anything. We'll go ahead and proceed forward. Who do we have from the Office of Legislative Services on the line with us today?
Good morning, Madam Chair. This is Lorraine Spencer. I'm on the line.
Good morning,
morning,
Madam Chair.
Lorraine.
This is Sherelle. I'm on the line too.
Good morning, Lorraine, and good morning, Sherelle. Thank you both for being on the line. Do we have anybody from the judicial branch on the line?
Good morning, Madam Chair. This is Karen Francis from Office of the Chief Justice.
Good morning, Karen. Thank you for being on the line. Do we have anybody from the Office of the President and Vice President on the line?
Good morning, Madam Chair and LOC members. This is Tamara Johnson with the Office of the President, Vice President. Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Johnson. Thank you for being on the line. Do we have any directors or anybody from the executive branch on the line? Not hearing anything. Lorraine, can we make sure that we have Jesse Delmar and Chief Noon on the line? We'll go ahead and proceed forward. Well, I'd like to ask, is there anybody on the line who wishes to announce themselves for the record?
Good morning, Madam Chair. This is Chief Noon. I'm on the line.
Oh, good morning, Chief Noon. Thank you for joining us this morning. Is there anyone else on the line who wishes to announce themselves at this time for the record? Forward to the next item on the agenda, that's review and adopt the agenda. Lorraine, can you go ahead and read the agenda into the record for us, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the Law and Order Committee members and those that are on the line. Agenda of the Law and Order Committee, 24th Navajo Nation Council special meeting through telecommunication, October 3rd, 2022, 10 a.m. Presiding Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton, Chairwoman, Honorable Altoso, Vice Chairperson. 1, call meeting to order, roll call and invocation. Number 2, recognize guests and visiting officials. Number 3, review and adopt agenda. Number 4, review and adopt the journals. There's none. 5, receive reports. A, report from Navajo Nation Police Department regarding the Navajo Nation Police Officers Bonus Payment. 6, old business, none. 7, new business, none. 8, close the meeting. Announcement and adjournment. Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you for that, Lorraine. So with that, committee members, the agenda has been read into the record. Can I get a motion and a second? Committee members, the agenda has been read into the record.
Motion, Delegate James.
Motion made by Delegate Vin James. Can I get a second?
Second by Vice Chair.
second by Vice Chair Otto. So with that, committee members, are there any questions, any comments, or any amendments that need to be made at this time? Not hearing anything, we'll go ahead and proceed forward with the roll call vote. Cheryl, can you assist with roll call vote, please?
Yes, Honorable Vince James, how do you vote?
Delegate Jam votes green.
Thank you, Honorable Vince James votes green. Honorable Eugene So, how do you vote? Honorable Otto So, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you, Honorable Otto So votes green. Honorable Edmund Yazzie, how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you, Honorable Edmund Yazzie votes green. Honorable Eugene So, how do you vote? Honorable Eugene So, how do you vote? Honorable Madam Chair Charles Noon, you have 3 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 not voting. Honorable Eugene So and Honorable Madam Chair Eugenia Charles Noon not voting, Madam Chair.
Thank you for that, Cheryl. With a vote of 3 in favor, 0 opposed, 2 not voting, we do have an agenda before us. We are at item number 4, review and adopt the journals. There is none. Item number 5, you have receiving reports. We have a report from the Navajo Nation Police Department regarding the Navajo Nation police officers' bonus payment. This is a request that was made on behalf of Delegate Vince James. I think a couple of Law and Order Committee meetings back. So we are going to be hearing this report. So with that, committee members, we do have Chief Noon on the line. Chief Noon, you have presented to this committee before. You will have 20 minutes to make your presentation. You can call up to 2 agents. I would like to ask everyone at this time to make sure that their phone is on mute as Chief Noon provides his report to this committee. So with that, committee members, can I get a motion and a second, please?
Motion by Vice Chair.
Motion made by Vice Chair Otto. So can I get a second?
Second, Delegate James.
So with that, before I turn the floor over to you, Chief Noon, do you have any questions regarding the procedure before we begin?
No, ma'am, I don't have any questions.
Okay, so with that, Chief Noon, you have 20 minutes on the clock to present your information to us. The floor is yours.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the Law and Order Committee, and everybody who is listening online. So several weeks ago, maybe even months now, we brought this topic up in a leadership meeting that we had with you all regarding our attempts to attract candidates for our police officer positions, as we've discovered that a lot of our applicants are they're washing out in the background process, and maybe there's some out there who aren't quite as sure yet that they want to join the police department. So we had talked about some ideas that we had come up with in developing potential hire-on bonuses for lateral officers and bonuses for new recruits as an attempt to strengthen our recruiting efforts across Navajo. And I know that, Madam Chair, you had spent some time in DC and presented some ideas that we talked about in that meeting. And so this is just a continuation of work on that initiative. And I just wanted to make it clear for everybody listening. I know there was some concerns when it was initially brought up about the funding and why is it just police and why not, other employees of the executive branch. So what we've done is we've been able to identify funds that we have within the police department to make this a reality. And right now we are at the, I guess we could describe it as the final steps in this process, with the Deputy Chief Red Horse working closely with the DPM, Department of Personnel Management, to make sure that we're following their policies in initiating this bonus payment. So the bonuses that we're talking about, we're looking at a lateral hire-on bonus of $6,000 for those that are already certified, and we could bring on to Navajo and run them through our, we call it a certification by waiver through the Navajo Post, to get them certified as Navajo police officers. And the $6,000 falls in line with what other agencies are doing, and with some agencies, bigger agencies, it's actually on the lower end of what they're paying. But we think this will be beneficial for us in getting, well, and the reason also we're focusing on laterals is it doesn't take as long to get them trained and get them out on the road. As we all know that when we hire brand new officers, it takes anywhere from a year to a year and a half from hiring them to them actually being out on the road themselves. So for that bonus, like I said, we're looking at $6,000. It would be paid out when they're hired. Half of it would be paid out, $3,000. And the second payment of $3,000 will be made once they complete their year of probation. For the new officer bonuses, we're looking at $3,000. That would be paid out, half $1,500 when they're hired, and the other $1,500 after their year probationary period. And the other thing that we're looking at is longevity bonuses for all of our employees, our commissioned personnel, as well as our civilian personnel. It's no secret that with our classification of jobs or different positions that we have on our civilian side, we're not very competitive with closest competitors around our region. And this is a way for us to, especially for the civilian staff that have been here, for a long time, getting them more pay for the work that they do for us. And as we often express to them, and we hope that they understand that they are valued employees, that they do a lot of the work, for the PD that goes unseen, the work that is done behind closed doors. And this is a way for us, to get them to understand that we appreciate them and we value them. So as far as that goes, the longevity pay, what we're looking into, depending on the funds we have in our department, we're looking at a 5-year longevity bonus of $2,000, a 10-year longevity bonus of $5,000, and another $5,000 at 15, and another $5,000 at 20. I think that we'll be able to get this started, and as we go and approach our negotiations for our new contract with BIA, what I'm hoping for is we'll be in a position to where they won't have any excuses in not increasing our funding. They often tell us that the reason our funding is not increased is because we have money in the bank. And really, this is just money that's carried forward because we're not able to fill our vacant positions. And just to give you an example of the difficulty that we're having, in one of our police districts, we have 13 applicants. Of those 13 applicants, 1 passed the background, 1 withdrew, and the rest were not qualified. So, I mean, it's just, you know, we're trying to figure out how we can get more people on board. The idea of 18-year-olds is still out there. Again, working with DPM, we're trying to get that set in place. We did have a meeting with the new OJS director last week and his staff. And since you first approached him, Madam Chair, I think this is the third person that has occupied that seat. So we're hoping this guy stays longer. He's offered us some hope that this will be accomplished. Their initial thought was that it wouldn't, because their federal contracts with other federal agencies, the minimum age is 21, but they are open to it because they are being approached by other tribal police departments across the country that are looking to do this as well. So it's not stopped. I mean, I just wished it was simpler than it's turning out to be. But really, as far as that report goes, that's going to wrap it up for me, but of course, there's probably some questions, so I'm available for any of those questions. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Chief Noon. So with that, does that complete your presentation?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Okay, so with that, committee members, the report provided by Chief Noon is on the police bonuses. The motion was established by Vice Chair Otto, so a second by Delegate Vince James. So with that, do we have any questions regarding this report?
Madam Chair, got a question.
Okay, so with that, we do have a question from Vice Chair Otto. So the floor is yours, Vice Chair.
Thank you very much. Excuse me, I'm multitasking this morning. With the bonuses pertaining to, it sounds like we're going to be utilizing the leftover funding pertaining to our 638 contract. When the raises was when readjustments of the salaries were authorized by the Law and Order Committee on the 20th Council, and utilizing the leftover fiscal year funding for the program, that we were supposed to utilize this funding for the cost for the salary for police officers. Yeah, with that, no,
Vice Chair.
you can fund this.
Vice Chair. Yeah, I'm sorry, but you keep cutting in and out. I don't know if it's just on my end. Lorraine, is that how you guys are hearing it on your end as well?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Vice Chair, you keep cutting in and out.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. So what I'm getting to is that I assume that the offset salary increases for the police officers' salary increases were supposed to be paid for by utilizing the leftover funds from the $638 from the previous years. I know that we know that as the $638 come in, the issue was that they wanted to make sure that the salary increases or the salary adjustments were funded. And I'm hoping that we do have enough funding for so we keep those salary increases for our police officers. And then with the bonuses, utilizing the funding pertaining to the leftover $638. I'm hoping that we're not going to raise that whole funding and not be end up coming to a shortfall on the salary increases for the police officers. But that is just my concern pertaining to that issue. I do agree that we need to give our police officers bonuses, but I believe the way I understood it is that the bonuses is coming out of the offsets of or leftover 638 funds from previous years. And with that, that's one. And the other question would be is how much is left? $638. Tapi how much dollars is estimated to be there? Thank you.
Thank you for that, Vice Chair. So with that, Chief Noon, before we take on any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and go back over to you to your questions and the concerns brought on by Vice Chair. Chief Noon, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the question, Vice Chair. So the concern for the shortfall, I mean, we are aware of that. And, we are, and I think that's the biggest thing is why we're not really rushing into this. We're making sure that, the funding is going to be there and it's not going to put us in a position of where we end up having a shortfall. But what I want to be able to do is get us into a position to where, BIA is held, to their responsibility in ensuring that we continue to be funded. And as far as the total costs that are left over, Deputy Chief Redhorse has all those figures with him, and unfortunately he's on leave this week. Took some time off after the budget year was completed. But we do have, I know that we have a good pot of money that was left over because of those vacant positions that we do have. But at some point or another, when we start hiring people and getting people on board, we're going to have that, that discussion with BIA so that we don't have that shortfall. Because my hope is that, and my goal is to fill as many positions as we can so that we can make BIA increase our funding, and then I don't really know what's entailed in that process. And it's something that I'm sure that we're going to reach out to you all, and hopefully, it doesn't, the thing that occurred this past contract negotiation timeframe doesn't happen again. So, but we are aware, like I stated, we're not rushing. We're trying to be responsible with this, but we need to get people hired. We need to attract more officers. And as far as how much money is left over, I can get you that figure maybe at the next meeting, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, I got a follow-up.
Thank you for that, Chief Noon. Follow up by Vice Chair Otto. So the floor is yours, Vice Chair.
Yes. So I really like the what response I got, and just want to make sure that public safety is very cognizant about expending those dollars, because that was one way that we were supposed to pay for the salary, police officer salary increases, utilizing these leftover $638 to make sure that we do have adequate funds there. Other than that, if we deplete this, we may not have the backup reserve to, if we need additional revenue to offset the costs for the police officers' salary increases that was authorized. Because when the salary increase was authorized, we did indicate that the money is not gonna come from general fund. It's coming from within the 638 contract, the leftover dollars. So with that, Mr. Noon, I would and Chief Noon, though Mr. Delmore, be very careful about when you start planning to expend bonuses based off of the contract. BIA may tell you, yes, go ahead, no shit. But I think if there's a bonus discussion, we need to maybe look at maybe having a separate. We have to look for the monies elsewhere. Like now, carryovers. That's one way to unused dollars at the end of the year. And public safety, I'm not too sure if there is some funding that were carried over, but what I'm saying is that that's funding that's left over that could go for that purpose to pay for bonuses, alcohol, but just be very cognizant on it, because if we deplete these monies, you're gonna have to let some police officers go to make sure that we are within the contract funding amount to pay for the salary increases. We have to make that adjustment if we deplete the rest of whatever balance is left within the past fiscal year's 638 contract dollars. And then like I said earlier, is that we have to look for money elsewhere to pay for this. So, with that, thank you.
Thank you for that, Vice Chair. Chief Noon, do you want to respond to the comment and the concerns raised by Vice Chair Otto?
Yes, Vice Chair, I appreciate the advice, and I think one thing that I'll make sure that we do as we start moving forward with these different steps is we'll keep you all in the loop, and just so we can track our progress and really, I guess what I want to be able to, like I said, get more officers hired, and I also want to hold BIA accountable, to the needs of our tribe, the Navajo Nation, the Navajo Police Department, with our sheer size, our volume of calls, or just everything that our officers have to deal with on a daily basis. They can't continue to make the excuses that they make, when they don't increase our funding. And I like the fact that this is being talked about in the open now, so that when the next contract negotiating period comes by, that we're going to have a seat at the table with you all, our committee, and so we can actually counter some of the arguments that PIA may have in not funding us more. So we're aware of all these things but like I said, I appreciate the advice, and we will make sure to just include you all as these steps start taking place to help guide us with the process in the next coming years. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Chief Noon. So with that, committee members, are there any other questions or comments at this time?
I should sit, Virginia.
Delegate Eugene, so the floor is yours.
Question said, the compound any on the increase convention. I've been addressing it, how we are short of money funds for the police department regarding to the 638 contract. How come we're always getting less than our population? I lived out when was the last time it was signed? I don't know why. Maybe we just signed it, the contract. Not really looking at the data. We have been growing a lot. I don't know when the 638 started, but somehow we need to address it higher up. I don't know who we can address it with, which which congressman or who he has a say so on this. It needs to change. It really has to change because we've been against this all these years, against this contract, and we don't have enough for the police department, all the way from the police vehicles. Up and it seems up on there. Oh, that's how much they give us. It seems that way. When I was working for the Natural Resource Grazing Committee, BIA always had a carryover at the regional there in Gallup, and they always try to do something with it. One time they hired some range technicians to do the utilization studies across the Navajo Nation with the money that was carried over, that was just sitting there before it goes back, and they use that money to hire some people, range conservationists, to do the range utilization studies. But so I always wonder. I think if we work with the regional, whatever money that they have that's carrying over, maybe we can look into it, see if we can grab that money for the police department. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of stipulation, bylaws, etc. That's always say that when the BIA when Congress gives you money to wear a jacket during the winter, to buy a jacket during the winter to wear it, the laws would say you have to wear it in July and August, or else they take it back. Seems that money is like that, it's really becoming on. So I don't know how, basically how to get a jacket to wear it during the winter when it's cold. But if they do, they take your money back, take your jacket. Seems that way sometimes when I look at it. I wonder how we can revisit these contracts with the police department, and how we can start off like yesterday. So this has been going on for a long time, and we're always short on men and police vehicles, etc. We're always short. I think it's about time we had to sit down with whomever to renegotiate these contracts. Population has grown. We're a lot. I heard there's over 600,000 now. Otto and James Edmund, how can we do this to get this thing going? See where we can ruffle up some feathers here and there. Thank you.
Shahat, thank you for asking that question and bringing that up. I think that working with Director Jesse Delmar and also Chief Noon, we have been asking that question of, how can we use those extra fundings? And I think what Chief Noon stated is correct in that BIA, when we go to advocate for funding, BIA always tells us that we still have money. And that, we're sitting on a lot of money, and that's the carryover that's done every year with the 638 contract funds. So that is the reason why we, when we went to BIA the last time with Jesse Delmar back in April, when we sat down with BIA, we said we need more funding for our police officers, and what they told us was, well, you guys have a lot of money that you're using. Every year you guys do this carryover that we're allowing. So it was at that time that we requested to use those funds to offer the bonuses, because he is right in that because we still have a lot of officers that positions that are not filled, that money continues to be carried over, which looks bad. It looks bad on Navajo. So it is, we're trying to use those funds, but at the same time, as Vice Chair Otto so stated, we're trying to be diligent in making sure that that there's still money left over in the event that we, have a hiring, I guess a lot of people who get hired on as police officers. So, Delegate Eugene, so I don't really know how to answer that. I think we're still kind of coming together, but we do know, and I think that this committee is in agreement that we do have to renegotiate the 638 contract funds. And right now, detention is going through that right now. Vice Chair Otto So just now dropped that legislation that went through Law and Order Committee. It's going to be going through Budget and Finance today. So hopefully everything, that we can start having those proper negotiations. Chief Noon, can you remind us again when PD and CI's 638 contracts go up for renegotiation?
Yes, ma'am. I believe it's 2025, so preparation would be in 24. Or maybe I'm a
All
year
right.
off.
Okay, thank you for that. So with that, Chief Noon, is there anything that you'd like to add to the comment that was made by Delegate Eugene So?
Just the one thing that, as I stated earlier, there's been some instability at the head position of OJS, and hopefully this new gentleman who's taken over the directorship stays for a while. When we met with him, we met with his leadership team, and the deputy director was also on, and they were very excited to hear, with these different things that we were looking at doing. And the only thing that they hesitated on was the 18-year-old, but they weren't in total disagreement of it. They said, as I stated, other tribes are looking to do that as well. And I think if we get to the position where they're just not willing to support that, then that may be where we would need to research the potential of using general funds just to, hire on 18-year-olds until they hit the 21-year-old, then we can transfer them up into our contract funds. But just a lot of things going on, a lot of irons in the fire, and Deputy Chief Red Horse has been busy with a lot of this stuff. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief Noon. And that's good news that they're not in disagreement with the 18-year-olds. I think that's going to help us a lot, especially with those passing the background check. And then the instability of the Office of Justice Services at the BIA level, that was one of the things that I did talk about, when I provided public testimony. It wasn't in my actual testimony, but it was off to the side with Department of Justice and also with FBI, is that, your sister agency, the BIA, really, needs to provide some type of stability when it comes to directing or appointing a director who is going to stay on long term to be able to assist all of the tribes with, with public safety and justice. At BIA, I don't know if BIA, Office of Justice Services, but they have somebody there. I didn't see them there, but just know that is one thing, that is a concern that we did bring forward. So hopefully they are taking that back and making it known to everyone there. So with that, committee members, are there any other questions or comments at this time? Okay, so with that, committee members, since there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and proceed forward to a vote to accept the report given to us here by Chief Noon regarding the police bonuses. Terrell, can you assist us with
This is Delegate James.
Oh, Delegate Vince James, the floor is yours.
Ich na nationale ado kodon hilta nasis tani ado nana dan Chief Noon. Di kodo na di kit linigi di personal vahi ako di det bonus bedi nanigi quite has anigi nate nakata anesh has ande DPM ado OMB ade la hat ilan hilnila has ande ako hadit au ado lichlish ni hilne ako kwaigi bahna adish kidole ado benil nesto kut abi denit to ne ako kwaigi ado la Department of Personnel manual booklet. Jo adet nel inkoko ani the merit bonus is not hot out yoke do hot ainas ado nana hat gita hat nita evaluation nikin lede hat ahonana shijil nigi de do al kitsen nello jokot out hojen elie Jakodat Ehoda hot the personal policy manual the baka ako la hit out ade sad linin hitche nin ne land song kodo fa na de dish kilako akot out na de kidole adoshi the kidoshi not arch hanen zi oshin kodo na dish kidole ehya ha chinale Madam Chair.
Thank you for that, Shanella. Delegate Vince James. So with that, Chief Noon, were you able to understand the question that was posed by Delegate Vince James?
My apologies, not all of it, but I did have somebody here translating, and I understand the question has to do with how we're working with DPM and are we going to use their policies. So what I'll say is through the meetings between Deputy Chief Red Horse and DPM, they're requesting policies from our end that'll support what we want to do. We have been working with them. They have been helping us develop those. So my understanding is it's not going to be following what already exists because it's a different structure, I think, for what's set up now. And but we are working together, and they are being helpful in this endeavor. Was there something else?
Delegate Vince James, was there anything else to that, or was your question or your concerns addressed?
Madam Chair, let me excuse me talking English. In regards to the personnel policy manual, and then also the budget instruction manual policy, which is working with OMB, and what is their point of view from OMB to establish that funding as bonus payments for each of the positions that are filled by police officers. On top of that, my next question, how far are you going to go back by doing a retroactive? If we're going to be talking about a certain amount as sign-on bonuses, when you have a position that does not have that is not filled, and you do a sign-on bonus, and you're giving that amount to that individual, and so now you have your current officers that did not receive that sign-on bonus. The difference of that, how are you addressing that from your office? And how far are you going to go back on paying the bonus of years of experience? Are you going to have a break amount as to a table chart, or is it just going to be an equal distribution for all the police officers? And so when we start talking about bonuses, there's another portion that comes into effect, which is those individuals that are going to be retiring. How are you addressing those individuals that are going to be retiring? Are they going to still receive the bonus payment before they retire or after they retire? So that's what I'm trying to find out, because when you start looking at your BIM booklet and your Department of Personnel Management booklet, those are some of the areas that it identifies on how to address your bonuses. Is that what you're going to follow, or do you have a different plan in place that you will follow to distribute that bonus? And I'll have another question after that, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Delegate James. Chief Noon, I'm going to turn the floor back over to you to answer the question.
Thank you. In regards to the first question with OMB, so when we sat down and talked with OMB, they basically told us that we needed to work with DPM, and that was their direction. So that's what we've been doing. They didn't really express any, bring up any issues or express any concerns, because I think they are under the same understanding that we are able to use the funds for this purpose, but they just wanted to make sure that DPM was part of this initiative. And, you know, honestly, when we start talking about the lateral, like the higher run bonuses, and then going back to Vice Chair's comments about being cautious with the way we use this, I think really this is one of those deals where it can't be retro, you know, because I think that it's going to impact us, the budget that we have available, to a point that we wouldn't be able to do it. And I just think that we are in a position now in policing, you know, for the Navajo Nation, we need to figure out ways to get people interested in the position. And again, like I stated, this first started out with the idea of introducing lateral bonuses so that we could get people who are already certified and then just needed to spend 2 weeks in a certification by waiver through Navajo Post, and then an abbreviated field training period. So instead of a year and a half, we were looking at potentially 4 to 6 months. And then when we started, so we had a big interest in applicants, and that's starting to dwindle. And so this was a way to keep the interest, you know, in a job in law enforcement out there for, especially if, you know, when we thought that the 18-year-olds was going to get support, you know, all the way up to the OJS level, that we would have more interest. And so honestly, I really can't, I've not been thinking of making it retro. And I know there's a lot of discussion out there about, you know, how is that fair? How we try to make it fair is, you know, when I talked about the longevity bonuses and looking into that and how much that would impact, you know, the budget. And for those officers who have been here, you know, beyond 5 years. And so I don't know really how else or what else to say on that, you know, but the focus on this was trying to get people in the door, get them trained, and get them out on the road. So that's my answer to those two questions. Thank you.
Delegate Vince James, I believe you said you had a follow-up question. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Sonali. Thank you, Chief Noon, for responding. And I think it's very important to know the plan of how you're going to pay out these bonuses, due to the fact that you've already have your officers aware of what is coming, and their point of view, your current officers that are on board, their current view is that, oh, we're getting a bonus. And so I think at this point, the officers are looking forward to some sort of a bonus to happen. And so with that, what are your plans on in what quarter of this fiscal year, since we just started the first quarter, what quarter of this fiscal year do you plan to have these bonus paid out to your current officers? And then number two is, do you have the staff to do all the forms that is required to do the bonus payout? And it gets really interesting, and this is why I always express that, you know, any federally funded program should not be part of the nation's budget, and any federally funded program should be separate, because when at the federal level, when they start doing their budgets, when they start doing their payment, it's like they do A, B, and C, and it's done. That's the federal level. But when it comes to the Navajo Nation, and it's a federally funded program, in this case 638, you're part of the nation and you're part of the federal. And when that happens with the program, it's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, G process. It goes through all of these different processes, where on the federal level, it only goes A, B, and C, and it's done and it's paid out. But within the Navajo Nation, it's a very lengthy process that we run into with those programs that are federally funded. And so how do we, the question has been, how do we streamline that to where we follow the federal A, B, and C and do the payout? And so that's the reason why I'm asking you, do you have the staff to do all of those individual forms? Because that's what the nation requires. But on the federal level, it's a different story. It's a different process. So do you have the staff to do that, or are you going to stagger it out through the fiscal budget year by quarters and pay out your current officers as bonus payment? So that will be my question again. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for that, Delegate James. So Chief Noon, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for that, Delegate James. And I could not agree with you more, which is really, I guess, leads to my answer is I'm hoping to get this implemented as soon as I can. And I'm hoping that is around the second quarter. It may be sooner, but as you stated, you know, all the different steps that's required is it's difficult to gauge an exact timeline. It is something though that we work on continuously, and I wish I could provide you an exact quarter that this is going to be implemented. But I really don't know, when we deal with DPM for this project, for hiring, for anything personnel related, I understand. I mean, they're short-staffed. And, so we sit here and wait for documents to be processed, just like people wait for us to respond to calls. So across the nation, everybody is feeling the pinch. And so that's why I really can't give you an exact quarter that this is going to happen. But I do agree that I think we make the processes more difficult. I thought OMB was going to have more involvement, but like I said, they said just work with DPM. And as far as staffing goes, we do have the people to make this happen, and I'm confident of that. And I'm just looking forward to, getting this to our employees, especially the civilian staff. That it's just something that's been on my mind and my focus since I took over, just in the amount of time that I've been here, just seeing the amount of work that they do for the department and for the nation. It's a priority for me, and I hope that it happens sooner than later. Thank you.
Chief Noon, are you still there? Lorraine, can you hear me?
I'm still here.
I'm sorry. It just went quiet there, so I wasn't sure if you were done or if you dropped off the call.
I might have cut myself off. I said thank you, then, and that was my answer.
Thank you for that, Chief Noon. So with that, Delegate Vince James, did you have another follow-up?
Yeah, done. Madam Chair. Those will be my questions, and thanks for the response. And Chief Noon, if anything, any issues, problems, please come back and address it to Law and Order Committee and see how we can help with working with our legal counsel to get these bonus payments out to our police officers throughout the Navajo Nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Delegate Vince James. And as he stated, Chief Noon, we are here to support, even if it means calling DPM, to Law and Order Committee and ask them what the holdup is. So just know that we are here ready to help and ready to support. So with that, committee members, are there any other questions or comments at this time? Okay, not hearing anything. Sherelle, can we go ahead and do a roll call vote at this time to accept the report provided to us by Chief Noon here today regarding the bonuses and the 638 contract? Sherelle?
Yes, Honorable Vince James, how do you vote?
Delegate James votes green. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Vince James votes green. Honorable Eugene So, how do you vote?
Vote is still here.
Thank you, Honorable Eugene So votes green. Honorable Otto So, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you, Honorable Otto So votes green. Honorable Edwin Yazi, how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you, Honorable Edmund Yazi votes green. Honorable Madam Chair Charles Newton, you have 4 in favor, 0 opposed, and Madam Chair Charles Newton not voting. Madam Chair.
Thank you for that, Sherelle. So with that, committee members, and thank you so much, Chief Noon, for providing us information and giving us a report at this time.
Thank you, Madam
You
Chair.
are excused, Chief Noon. Yes, and again, if there's any assistance that we can provide with DPM, just please don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be happy to assist.
I appreciate that. I will be sending a mutual aid agreement with Page PD through the 164. Just wanted to update you on that.
Thank you for that. So with that, committee members, we're going to go ahead and proceed forward to item 6 on the agenda, old business, there is none. Item 7, new business, there is none. Item 8, close of meeting. Are there any announcements at this time? Not hearing anything, we'll go ahead and proceed forward to adjournment. I do need a motion and a second to adjourn.
Motion by Vice Chair.
Motion made by Vice Chair Otto So, second by Delegate Eugene So. Are there any questions or comments before we adjourn, committee members? Not hearing anything. Sherelle, can you assist us with roll call vote, please?
Yes, Honorable Vince James, how do you vote?
Delegate James votes green.
Thank you, Honorable Vince James votes green. Honorable Eugene So, how do you vote?
Vote Dr. Stosh, yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Eugene So votes green. Honorable Otto So, how do you vote?
Vote green.
Thank you, Honorable Otto So votes green. Honorable Edmund Yazzie, how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you, Honorable Edmund Yazzie votes green. With that, Honorable Madam Chair Charleston Unia, 4 in favor, 0 opposed, and Madam Chair Charleston not voting. Madam Chair.
Thank you for that. So with that, we are hereby adjourned at 11:11 a.m. Thank you, committee members, for being on the call. And we do have a Law and Order Committee meeting again scheduled for next Monday. So until then, be safe, have a good day, and enjoy your week. Thank you.
Be safe. Bye-bye.